Friday to you. Thanks so much for watching THV11 News at Noon. I'm Michael Aaron with meteorologist Corrales Ortiz over on Winter Weather Watch in the Weather Center. Corrales, I bet that the bread, the milk, the staples are flying off the shelves if they're even still there.
Hey, don't be jinxing that right now. We have that supply chain issues, you know that.
This is the South. You know, this is the South. We don't do all that well with all that.
I know.
on the road.
I'm over here getting used to driving in several inches of snow. But yeah,
right.
That's exactly the main weather story we've been focusing on for the last couple of days, and we already are seeing those winter weather alerts. You've been kind of seeing at the bottom of your screen as well. We have a winter storm watch in effect for select counties, northeast Arkansas. That includes anywhere from Wythe, Cleburne, all the way to Van Buren counties as well, nearing the Missouri border there. I wouldn't be surprised if that gets kind of updated to winter storm warnings as that storm progresses and nears. So here's a look at what to expect, a little bit of that timeline of when we have the better chances of rain to snow. Of course, higher elevations to northern Arkansas, starting off as rain early Saturday, but as early as Saturday morning, start changing over to snow. The rest of us mostly rain for much of the day. Later Saturday night, we'll start to see that transition over into snow. Some spots might be just mostly rain. Right now, we're seeing considerable cloudiness. Temperatures already in the mid to upper 50s this afternoon. Looks like we're kind of reaching the max temperatures for the afternoon. A cooler day in store, but of course a big cool down in store this weekend. So I'll have the latest snowfall numbers, what we can expect coming your way in just a bit.
All right, Corrales, the possible winter weather is, of course, on the top of everyone's mind. We've made it easy to stay up with the very latest as things begin to develop this weekend. Just text the word weather to the number on your screen. That's 501-376-1111 to learn more about the winter weather and what our team is watching. And we're not the only ones getting ready for the snow. The Arkansas Department of Transportation says its brine tanks are full, salt houses are topped off, and plows and spreaders are ready to go should they need them. We're going to have more on those preparations tonight at 5 and 6. And remember, you can find the latest road conditions on iDriveArkansas.com. I'm going to bring you an update on a story we've been following for several days. Crews are out along the Arkansas River in Maumelle once again searching for Ashley Haynes. It's been almost 48 hours since the Maumelle woman disappeared while paddleboarding on the river Wednesday afternoon. Her paddleboard and snack bag were found yesterday. The multi-agency search effort picked back up this morning with boats and canine units focusing on the park on the river. We're following this story very closely. We'll update you here on air and online when new information becomes available. The latest surge in COVID-19 cases caused by the Omicron variant is not letting up. Here are the latest numbers. A record-breaking 12,990 new infections were reported in Arkansas yesterday. That means we've not hit the peak of this current wave. Close to 80,000 Arkansans are currently dealing with the virus. Putting that into a little more perspective, that means 1 in every 40 people in the state have COVID-19 right now. While the Omicron variant often results in milder cases compared to the Delta variant, it's still doing a number on our hospitalizations. Right now, there are more than 1,200 Arkansans hospitalized with COVID-19. That number has more than doubled in the last 2 weeks. Since hospitalizations are a lagging indicator, officials expect that number will grow. The Supreme Court has stopped the Biden administration from enforcing a requirement that employees at large businesses be vaccinated against COVID or undergo weekly testing. This as Omicron pushes hospitals and schools to the brink in many states. Michael George has the latest.
President Biden is dealing with a major setback in the fight against COVID-19 after the Supreme Court blocked his sweeping rule requiring workers at large companies to either get vaccinated or get routinely tested.
We're going to have to determine what the next steps are. The president's view is we're going to keep pushing for hard things.
In a 6-3 decision, the court's conservative majority wrote that the OSHA rule is, quote, a significant encroachment into the lives and health of a vast number of employees, adding that COVID is, quote, not an occupational hazard in most businesses.
To me, the mandate was a massive overreach by the government.
At the same time, the High Court did uphold a new federal rule requiring vaccinations in many medical settings. The U.S. continues to face record hospitalizations fueled by the Omicron variant.
Just last week, we dropped off 40 cots to 4 different local hospitals because they said they didn't have enough beds.
Here in New York City, Mayor Eric Adams is considering a temporary remote learning option for public school students, many of whom are already staying at home during the pandemic. On Thursday, school attendance numbers in New York City were at 77%, with one school as low as 44%. In Philadelphia, more than 100 schools have switched to virtual learning, with staff sickened or quarantining because of COVID-19.
Since all this stuff is going around, I would rather go to Zoom because I don't want to get sick.
In Chicago, the nation's third largest school district, some parents are now considering transferring their children from public to Catholic schools, frustrated by recent standoffs between the city's teachers union over COVID safety protocols. Michael George, CBS News, New York.
Starting tomorrow, insurance companies should reimburse the cost of at-home COVID tests. The White House says it has already produced about 380,000 COVID tests to be distributed for free to Americans across the country. The number one thing we've heard from you during this rise in cases is how to get tested and get your results in a timely manner. We know the state is giving out free at-home testing kits right now, but those are first come, first serve, and they go fast. We've seen a number of pop-up testing sites recently to help. Several viewers have pointed out to us that if you try to book an appointment online, you'll see a wide range of options for pricing, with some of the highest being $300 for a rapid PCR test. Now the Arkansas Better Business Bureau is looking into price gouging and even scams.
You want to be concerned about price gouging because in most cases they're free, low charge. They will charge your health insurance if you have it typically, but when you're getting prices like in the $300 range, $100 range, it's too high and there is a concern.
The Federal Trade Commission is also warning people to be careful when it comes to those at-home tests. The most common concern, people ordering fake tests online. The FTC says if you are unsure if the test you're purchasing is approved, check the FDA's list of authorized products. If you're having problems with finding testing or you think you've been scammed, you should contact the State Health Department or the Attorney General's office. We have links to both on the THV11 app. A truck driver shortage is leading to late deliveries and shortages. The American Trucking Association says the U.S. needs another 80,000 truckers. Errol Barnett spoke with Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg, who says solving this problem is a top priority.
Empty store shelves signal a supply chain in crisis, exacerbated by a shortage of truck drivers.
What is your reaction to seeing grocery store shelves bare? Were you shocked by that?
Oh, well, I'm very concerned about this, and it reflects the fact that as long as we go through phase after phase of this pandemic, we're seeing disruptions in supply.
Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg spoke to CBS News as his agency announces new efforts to bolster the number of truckers as part of the Biden administration's pledge to fix the supply chain. Announcing Thursday more than $32 million for states to improve the commercial driver's licensing process, over 100 companies committing to expand trucking apprenticeship programs, and a task force to investigate predatory truck leasing.
We've got to recruit more people into the job, and we've got to keep them there.
Drivers have been fleeing in droves, with yearly turnover hitting 90% in parts of the trucking industry.
And if the wheels aren't rolling, these guys aren't making any money.
Mickey Weaver's company connects trucking applicants with employers. Not only are there too few job seekers, he says, once they see how much time in the truck is unpaid, many quit.
I had seen a guy just this morning. He'd been sitting there for 3 to 4 hours, just sitting there, just waiting to get his truck loaded, and he's not making any money.
We need to look at these compensation issues if we really want to solve long-term challenges in trucking in the U.S.
Now, the administration's new effort includes 2 studies of detention time. That's the label for when drivers are on the job but not being paid, when they're at the weigh station or perhaps sleeping on the road overnight. And that pay by the mile platform essentially encourages drivers to move extra long distances, sometimes to the point of exhaustion. Errol Barnett, CBS News, Washington.
The popularity of sports betting continues to grow across the U.S. A closer look at the trend as gamblers prepare for a wave of huge events coming up at 12:15. And if I were a betting man, Corrales, I'd bet a lot of people are going to see some snow this weekend.
Hey, a winter storm is on its way. It's already bringing snow to portions of the Midwest. It's right at our doorstep. Already within the next 24 hours, we'll begin to see some changes of the latest snowfall totals and a look at the timeline of the events coming up.